Oh, hello all. My name's Bucky. I'm probably the best person on the planet, and that's why you should listen to me when I do a movie review. A movie review called My Father is in Heaven. Now I'm Bucky. I'm the father. Spoilers. I die. But the only sin I ever committed was having to tape up my hat. Mark my words. Alright. Enough of that. Here we go. Today we're going to talk about My Father's in Heaven. Came out in 2017. Produced by the Nasser Group, which they do a lot of Christian stuff. They also do some non-Christian stuff. And yeah, spoilers when it says My Father is in Heaven. You already know what's happening to the guy. You just want to know how it happens. He fell off a four-wheeler at a low speed. Dumb. And yes, the character who plays Bucky is the perfect man. They never have any fights. He's the perfect, brings gifts home for the children and all that stuff. He's just great. Helps out in the family farm. Probably a Special Forces ex-Marine sniper with 7 Purple Hearts and 12 gold stars. He probably has something like that. What goes on in this movie? This is the same movie. It's the same movie as the last review I did, Let There Be Light. This is exactly the same thing. Somebody dies and they lose their faith. That's never been done before. Like never. IMDb gives this a 6 out of 10. That's probably pretty accurate. That's probably pretty accurate. I'm going to give it a bonus point. Not because it's Kevin Sorbo, but because of the lead actress who plays Bucky's wife. And also her husband is in this movie in kind of like a bit part too. Jen Gotzon Chandler is a terrific actress. And that's what pretty much kept me going through the whole movie. It's incredibly predictable. Incredibly. And it is, you know, it will turn a lot of people off because it is like a PG-13 movie where they're kind of pushing the lines with some of the stuff that they do, and some people might not like that. Overall, the spiritual message is good, and the grandpa in there is taking care of the grandchild while the wife character is mad, and she just goes and runs off. Doesn't want anything to do with God. And the grandpa character is telling the child about where her dad is. And that whole situation was great. The dialogue and everything in here was pretty good. The acting was pretty good all around. The best acting was by the grandpa character and Jen Gotzon Chandler. It was the acting that carried it. But it's the same story that people have been telling for a long time. Some tragedy happens, you lose your faith, and you come back. You know, it happens to almost everybody. It's not a groundbreaking story, you might say. No. Is it worth watching? Yes. It's free on Netflix right now. It was recommended as a popular one, so I watched it. I'm not unhappy I watched it. I thought it was really good. There weren't any points where I'm like tearing up or anything. I already know what's going to happen with pretty much every scene. And I thought everything was pretty believable as far as the situation goes. You know, someone getting mad and losing their faith. I don't know how much of a time span takes place. It appears to take place over like 2 or 3 weeks. And that sounds about right, you know. Sounds about right. Someone losing their faith, coming back, and all that. Yeah. You know, I thought it was good. You know, I do have problems with this movie. Problems mainly being the guy who is the Father in heaven is made out to be Jesus, basically. And that's not realistic. When he rode off on his four-wheeler, it would have been better, of course it's a Hollywood trope, and it's a writing trope, it would have been better if they showed that where he's not sort of getting along with his family a little bit, or they're kind of having disagreements, and he kind of rides off in a little bit of anger or something like that, and he's taking chances that he shouldn't take, and that's why the guy dies on a four-wheeler. As it is, it was like everything was lovey-dovey and everything's all happy, and he's cruising at about 5 miles an hour. Hits a stick or something and dies. It was done poorly. It was done very poorly. No dramatic effect in that at all. And that's what the whole movie is about. Overall, movie, we'll roll with the 7, only because of the acting. There is one actress in there who plays the main character's friend, the wife's friend, where she goes and stays with after her husband dies. The first few scenes with her are really annoying, and I think they didn't use the right cuts or something like that, because she can act, and you go off later in the movie, and she's believable. In the first few scenes, it's like, I don't think she understood what kind of a character she was supposed to be playing, and she's in there in a lot of the movie. There is no soundtrack, really, and it's really out of place, and that's kind of off-putting. And if the acting wasn't so good by the main character, it would definitely be a 6 out of 10. When you're in the middle of a conversation and you're doing shot, reverse shot, where people are having a conversation, shot this, have the reaction shot. When you're doing that and you're in the middle of the conversation and then you start playing the piano to try and drum up emotion, it's really out of place. It's really out of place, especially when they have the music turned up so loud. Yeah, the music was terrible. Terrible. It detracted from the story. Acting, and story-wise, all over, was good. Wasn't a waste of my time. It's only an hour and a half long. Wasn't a bad deal. There are no real major actors in here. I just want to point out Jen Gotzon Chandler, and I believe her husband is in there too, as well as Joseph Nasser, the producer. Jim Chandler is her husband. It's a worthwhile movie, but again, it's because I've been kind of putting up content for Patreon. I've been trying to go out of my way to actually watch these movies and stuff, and it's a lot of the same stuff that I keep seeing over and over and over again. If you're just looking for something to watch on Netflix for an hour and a half, yeah, go do it. Go do it. Not a waste of time. We're out of here.